What's up guys, this is Nick at Stridewise.com in Brooklyn, New York, and today I'm comparing perhaps the most iconic sneaker of all time to what is definitely the most eco-friendly sneaker of all time. And if that sounds like comparing apples and oranges, look at them. Look at these two sneakers. They are incredibly similar. Of course, people are going to be wondering the differences between the Converse Chuck Taylor and Nothing New, which is a relatively new company. It was founded in 2019, and it might look like a canvas sneaker and feel like a canvas sneaker, but by golly, would you believe it if I told you that this is actually made from recycled plastic bottles. 5.6 bottles worth of recycled plastic in every pair of these shoes, and you literally would have no idea that this wasn't canvas if I hadn't just told you that. The laces as well, also made from recycled plastic bottles. Each pair of shoes saves 160 gallons of water. It has a neutral carbon footprint. It funds reforestation in the United States. More on all that stuff later. I'm really just kind of trying to introduce the shoes right now. But despite all that fancy world-saving stuff, Nothing New looks just as cool as the coolest sneaker of all time. The Chuck Taylor, you might have heard about it. Actually, 60% of all Americans have either owned a pair of these or own one right now. 100 million of them are bought every year. You can call them Chucks, Chuck Taylors, Converse All-Stars. They're named after Charles H. Taylor of the Acorn Firestones, of course, who in the 1920s debuted them as the first shoe endorsed by a celebrity athlete. And now
they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. I've owned easily a dozen of these throughout my lifetime. They last about a year. Here is an older pair. You can see it's already torn up around here. I've been wearing the hell out of these as well. I've also been wearing the hell out of these low top white Nothing New sneakers for the past few months during this horribly hot New York summer. So these are newer pairs, but just for some evidence for you, yes, I have worn both of these shoes very extensively. And look, man, I'm gonna do a comparison of these shoes. If you're in the market for a canvas or canvas-like classic sneaker with a white toe cap, I think it's a very good idea to compare the two of them. So let's go. So let's start with the upper. The Chucks, this is canvas, cotton canvas. It is under 12 ounces. I know that because the Chuck 70, which I'm reviewing later on, has 12 ounces and it's significantly thicker than this. So this might be 10 ounces, might be less, which would put it at the weight of quite lightweight jeans, like, very lightweight jeans. So not the toughest material on earth, but it's not meant to be. It's meant to be lightweight and comfy and inexpensive. The shoes are double stitched up along the eyelets and around the collar as well. And it's all white stitching. Here I should emphasize there are dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands by now, varieties of this shoe. There are some with all black stitching, but also ones made with like glitter, with polka dots, with the American flag, whatever you want. Any kind of style you want of Chuck Taylors, you can find it. For Nothing New, at first glance, the aesthetic is simpler because it doesn't have white stitching contrasting with it, which is something a lot of people love about the brand. Like the white shoes have white stitching, gray has gray, blue has blue. So it has a lot more monochromatic versions on offer relative to Converse. So while you can get plenty of these with the classic white toe cap and sole, there are actually more monochromatic Nothing News. Like you can't get an all green Chuck Taylor. So strictly aesthetically, that's a potential advantage. I also want to point out that while Nothing New is single stitched and Converse is double stitched up and down the laces, first of all, Nothing New's canvas is thicker, it's 12 ounces, so that's a point. Nothing New also has an eyelet panel, so while Converse is all the same piece of material on the vamp as it is on the eyelets, Nothing New has an extra layer of canvas on top of the canvas. Plus, unlike the Chuck, it's got yet another layer of material running along the top of the shaft in the high top, and on the top of the low top in the low top. And that extra layer runs down on top of the extra layer on the eyelet panel, helping to secure it in place. So while it doesn't have quite as many stitches as the Chuck, Nothing New actually has more durable construction. And of course the material is different, right? This is called better canvas, is what they call it. So it's not cotton, it's 100% made from recycled plastic, post-consumer recycled plastic. So it's already been used as a water bottle or packaging or something, and now it's in your shoe. And you can recycle your shoe when it wears out. So the equivalent of 5.5 plastic bottles is in every pair of shoes, and it feels identical to cotton canvas. Then there's the heel counter. You see how it's like less flexible and like rigid around the heel, that's to like protect and support the heel. The counter is made from post-industrial recycled fishing nets. There's the tongue is made from recycled plastic as well. The eyelets are made from certified conflict-free copper and zinc, and the stitching is all recycled cotton, which they got in cooperation with the Better Cotton Initiative. And I feel like if I'd said all that stuff at the start of this review, you might think these shoes are necessarily going to be more flimsy than like the more, I don't know, the shoes that have more heritage and history to them, like the Chuck Taylors. But I actually, like I said, I think the construction here is more robust than the Chuck Taylors. And I haven't even gotten into the construction yet, the stitch construction, but let's get into that. So the really big construction difference with these shoes is that the Chuck Taylors are glued to the outsole, whereas Nothing New is stitched to the outsole with no glue at all. Like stitched like a dress shoe or something, but it's a sneaker and it's under $100. There are some sneakers out there that are stitched, but are none at this price point. So it's really impressive. It's much more expensive, but there are a few implications for that, right? The first one, of course, there's an environmental one. It helps to eliminate the environmental waste associated with vulcanized rubber outsoles. So for context, vulcanizing rubber outsoles means the rubber is heated with sulfur to make it harder and stronger, but vulcanized rubber is resistant to biodegradation and they emit sulfur and they get heated to help glue it to the canvas upper. So it's like, releases chemicals during its creation. So the stitching helps it to cut down on chemical emissions and stuff, but if you don't care about any of that, and I get it if you don't, you'll be very happy to learn that stitched soles on shoes, on sneakers, is more durable, like considerably more durable. If you've ever had a pair of Chuck Taylors, you are fully aware of the fact, where's my old pair? You're fully aware of the fact that almost immediately after you get them, you start getting holes around the where the toe break is, where the glue starts to come apart at this stress point. It doesn't hold up to it. But when they are stitched, that does not happen. It's a much more durable way of attaching an upper to a sole. And yes, you can do it with canvas sneakers. This is not restricted to dressier sneakers, Italian-made sneakers, or boots and that kind of stuff. You can do that with these. So yeah, I'm a very big fan of the fact that, yeah, I've been wearing these shoes for months and months. By now, if they're a pair of Chucks, I would have gotten holes there. I don't have any with these shoes. So you get more durability and yeah, more environmental friendliness as well. Last thing with the construction, just really quickly, the insoles on the Chuck Taylor, it's actually glued onto the shoe. I'm very weak. It's glued onto the shoe and it is made from a really low density foam. There's a little bit of extra under the heel and it's generally considered as having like no real support, which is why it's very good for lifting weights and not very good for running. On the other side with Nothing New, I mean, it's largely the same in that respect, but of course it's more eco-friendly. Theirs is removable, there it is. Nothing New, it is made from ortholite. And I have ortholite in the soles of my Dana mock toes, but this is the ortholite eco step, which largely uses recycled rubber. And also instead of using oil from petroleum, it uses oil from castor beans. So yeah, of course, even the insole is also eco-friendly. Fit and sizing, they're both like relatively similar. I mean, you can tell looking at them, right? They both have like flat, stable bottoms. They both have like pretty good shock absorption as well. They're both very lightweight. Neither of them are really the sort of sneaker where your foot is like perfectly anatomically contoured to give you maximum performance in basketball. They used to be for basketball, but we've since figured out how to make actual shoes that are going to help you work out. They're very good for lifting weights. I've done it in both of them. And they're very good for casual wear. That's the name of the game. They're obviously like casual sneakers. I will note that while the fits are similar, the Nothing New does contour the shape of my foot better. I know I just said like they're not the kind of shoes that do that. That said, although they are quite flat, it contours the side of my foot, like my instep, a lot better than the Converse Chuck Taylors. So like I can feel it cradling my foot better than I do on the Chucks. That's not to say the Chucks are uncomfortable or anything, but yeah, I felt more, I did feel a bit more supported by that. This is like a bit more foot shaped, I would say, on the side of Nothing New. With the sizing, you can go up half a size. That's what I did for Converse Chuck Taylors. No, sorry, for Nothing New. With boots, you often go down a half size. With sneakers, you often go up half a size. These shoes, yeah, I'm an 11.5 on a Brandt device. These are 12s and they fit me really well. As for Chucks, you can go true to size, I think. Some people go up half a size. I think true to size is fine because they now have half sizes. And even, I might recommend going down a half size for Chucks if you're exclusively going to be using them for lifting weights. So it's a small percentage of you, but nonetheless, if that's what you want to get them for, yeah, you can go down half a size on the Chucks. So as far as the price goes, the low top Chucks are $50, the high tops are $55. The Nothing New, the low top is $95, the high top is $108. So just under double the price. So obviously the Chucks are cheaper in that regard. If that's your number one concern, yeah, the Chucks are cheaper. I would note though that the shoes, they're not as similar as you might think. So as I mentioned, the canvas is thicker and tougher on the Nothing New shoes. The stitch construction, which is definitely like a big part of the difference in price, that's like a world of difference as far as like, yeah, the environmental stuff, but the durability as well. Like they will last like a lot longer. They're a lot less likely to come unstuck. Another thing I wanted to mention, the thing with Nothing New is you're effectively making a donation to charity every time you buy them. That's like worth remembering. They make sure the shoes are carbon neutral by, being environmentally conscious through the production process and all that kind of stuff. But also they try to make themselves carbon neutral by buying carbon offsets. So every time you buy a pair of these shoes, you are making a donation to like wind farms, biofuel companies, reforestation organizations. They donate to all these different companies, right? They're also certified by all these other companies like the Better Cotton Initiative and all these other ones. So that takes some extra money. those are important things that justify the price, or at least go towards the price that you should know about. Like, it's not just money grubbing. But a really important thing that I did want to mention that I haven't mentioned yet and probably should have is that with nothing new, once the shoes wear out, and of course they'll wear out, they're not immortal, right? But once they wear out, you can send it back to them and they will recycle the shoes for you, which is some extra karma, I guess. And also they'll take 20 bucks off of your next purchase, your next shoe from them, right? So that's like thinking very far ahead, I guess, but like I've literally bought a pair of Chuck Taylors every year of my life since I was 17. My first pair was red. And so knowing that I could like over the years like take 20 bucks and 20 bucks and 20 bucks off of the cost of getting a new pair of shoes, that definitely, yeah, it makes the shoes like less expensive in the long run. It's worth keeping in mind if you're a big sneakerhead and you like to wear shoes like this. All right, so that's it. That's my comparison of the two shoes. To sum up, the Chuck Taylors, I think a big advantage of the Chuck Taylors is you can get them in like a billion different colors, like any way you want to express yourself through your shoes, be it with like American flags or glitter, polka dots, any color under the sun, you can get Chucks like that, right? And they're universally recognized as cool. They're in every single corner of society, and they've also been around for 100 years. And I definitely get that appeal of wanting like heritage to your footwear. Like it's part of why I'm so into Goodyear welted boots and everything. And also, you know, nice leather jackets that are made the way they used to be. There's a real appeal to wearing what your forefathers wore, I guess. And I get that with the Chucks, believe me, I do. That's why I've been buying so many of them throughout my life. And also they're cheaper. That's a big deal, right? They are definitely the less expensive of the shoes. Nothing new. Practically speaking, it's got more durable canvas and the stitch construction is more durable and they're gonna last longer as a result. So like a bit more expensive, still like under 100 bucks for the low tops. A bit more expensive, but it'll last longer. So for most people, that's like gonna decide it, right? But you know, let's not ignore, I mean, we can't ignore the whole environmental thing, you know? I think it sort of ties into the fact that when you're a teenager, what you want is the cheapest shoe, right? Like when I got my first pair of Chucks, I just wanted the cheapest pair of shoes I could get. As you get older, you think more about like, I could pay more, but it'll last longer and thereby save you money in the long term. You have more long-term thinking, right? So nothing new is less wasteful in like a lot of ways. Besides the fact that it takes longer to wear out, you can also recycle them at the end of their life, which is cool. Because the thing is, like the US throws away 300 million pairs of shoes every year, 600 million shoes, right? So it's kind of nice that at the end of their lifespan, you can take them in and get them recycled. So I don't want to ramble too much about this. All I'm really saying is I saw these shoes, they're very similar looking, and I just kind of figure like if they're equally as cool looking as each other, which I think they are, one is going to last longer and fund like a wind farm and stuff. All right, I'm gonna pick the one that's like a little bit better for the world. You know, I'm not acting like I'm gonna be totally saving the world here, but I think improving the world, it happens by a lot of small decisions. And this is like a small decision that I was quite happy I was able to make. That's just me though. Let me know what you think in the comments. You can get any shoe you want. I don't mind, but let me know what you think in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe as well, because I got a whole lot more sneaker reviews, boot reviews, jacket reviews, bag reviews, and all kinds of stuff coming up.